Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano video. So the Cardano Summit happened in the last few days in Dubai, and a lot of really good announcements come out of that and partnerships for Cardano. And even if you look across social media right now and hear from people that were at it, the sentiment really seems to be turning a lot more positive than it has been in the last few months for Cardano. So what I'll do in this one is I'll cover some of the main announcements from that. I'm sure there's going to be lots that I don't get to go through, so let me know down below, and I'll probably put together a part 2 to this video towards the end of the week. I hope the audio and everything comes through okay. Just getting over a head cold, but I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. If you're new, give the video a like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. I do appreciate it. Let's jump into it. Okay, starting it off with a quick congratulations to the Cardano Foundation for the phenomenal event that they put on. All of the feedback coming out of it seems to be very positive. A lot of teams were able to network, get to know each other, find partnerships, and all of the general announcements that were coming out. Unfortunately, I didn't get to travel this year. I was in Switzerland last year and it was an incredible event. I heard this one was even a step above that. We have a new addition coming to the family in December, so with 2 kids at home, disappearing for 4 or 5 nights wasn't really a possibility this year, but next year, no excuses coming. So we'll kick it off then with Charles's keynote. This is what a lot of people were looking forward to hearing. Where does Midnight fit into it for Cardano? And we got some information on that, and even Big Pay done a good video on this. I would say if you're interested in how this all fits together, definitely check out his interview with Charles. It goes a lot deeper, and I think he sat down with Aaron, the CEO of Midnight, as well. That video hasn't come out yet, but I will leave a link to that one below when it does come out. But the high level was the whiteboard video that Charles went through here was kind of where Cardano is now, where the roadmap is looking going forward, and where Midnight is going to start to come in as a partner chain for Cardano. So you'll see lots of terms that you're probably familiar with here. SIP 1694 for Voltaire. Intersect is there. You can just see part of it. Up here, some of the scaling solutions, Hydra, input endorsers, and fast finality, which is something that I've talked a bit about that I really want to see faster finality for Cardano, and I think it really will help with the likes of DeFi, but that's definitely for another video. So down here is the part that a lot of people were looking at, was the 2 different layers for Cardano. So the CCL and the CSL. So CCL, the Cardano computation layer, and the settlement layer is the other one. So all of the computation happens in one place and then the settlement happens somewhere else. So this is where people were wondering, how is Midnight going to fit into Cardano? And so far what we know is that there will be opportunities for SPOs to be able to help validate on the Midnight chain, and for that they will get rewarded, and then people who are staking with them SPOs will get rewarded too. The actual inner workings of how that is going to work, we're not fully sure. There is going to be 2 tokens over on the Midnight chain, and actually if I bring up this article here, so one thing to mention, actually, it is part of this is all going to be built using the Parity Technologies substrate stack. So this is from Polygon. This is what, or not Polygon, this is from Polkadot, what Polkadot and Gavin Wood have built with the substrate stack and the SDK. Cardano, I know there was talk of this is a partnership between Polkadot and Cardano, but it's not really a partnership between them. Cardano are going to be using the open source, or IOGR, the open source version of Substrate to build part of Midnight. And this really is a reinforcement for what Polkadot and Gavin Wood have built and how solid that technology is. IOG then are going to be integrating bits that they've worked on as well with Minotaur, and this is what's going to enable partner chains to leverage specific combinations of resources for their consensus. So this is where the SPOs can come into it, and it's not just, and in Big Pay's interview they talk a bit more about this, that it mightn't be just Cardano that is the ones that help out with the consensus or run part of that. You could technically have proof of work miners on Bitcoin running part of it, you could have Ethereum part of it as well, and you could have lots of different protocols running parts of the consensus for the partner chains. And how this benefits Cardano, I suppose, on a basic level so far, is that the SPOs helping out with the network will earn rewards for that, and then rewards will also be shared out with delegators on Cardano. And like I said, there's 2 tokens over on the Midnight chain. So one will be paid out to people who are helping with the consensus of the chain, and then through Babel fees, you can see this here again, something I've talked a lot about on the channel that I really want to see this coming in. this is where you can pay the transaction fees on Cardano using the native asset that you're sending and not needing to have ADA to pay that. And that doesn't mean that ADA isn't used then, it's used under the hood, but on the surface, anyone can use the native token to pay, and then behind the scenes, that's transferred into ADA, and that's what's used for the network. But on this, they will be using Babel fees to translate whatever token is earned, Dust or whatever else it is on Midnight, into ADA to pay the delegators on Cardano. Still waiting on the full details on this and exactly how the interactions are going to work. When the next few interviews come out with that, hopefully we'll get more details on it too. At the summit as well, it was good to see Emurgo. Over the last while, they've got a lot of criticism over the last few years, and I would say some of it deserved, because they haven't been as front-facing as we would want them to be as one of the founding entities, but they are starting to come out a bit more now. And if we see some of the announcements they have, this one here I think is really interesting. I like where they're going with this, a partnership with NMKR. Patrick Tobler has been on the channel here a few times, probably due a catch up, maybe in the next few weeks when he is back home and has some time. We'll catch up for a chat to talk all about what they're doing, because they're really after real world use cases with this partnership and with something else we'll look at for them in a minute. So it's all about looking for where they can bring the outside world into Cardano and into crypto. And one of the announcements here from NMKR on this as well, I don't know if this one is in partnership with Emurgo, if this was NMKR on their own. This was the first ever tokenized diamond on Cardano. So this is where T-Imans, haven't heard of them before, but basically this diamond was, the ownership of this was minted into an NFT. So whoever owns that NFT can then go and claim the diamond. You can see here it's insured in a vault in Liechtenstein, and it's ready to be claimed by whoever owns the token. This is the type of thing I really want to see NFTs expand into, is what is behind them. And things like this, that you have the NFT, that is your legal ownership of something, and then outside of crypto, you can go and you can use the NFT to claim that. Just like you have deeds for a car or a house or anything like that, you can have them for real world assets, and it's a digital representation of that item. So when I get Patrick on, we'll talk a bit more about that kind of stuff then. Looking on then, we have with Emurgo, they had a partnership with the Blockchain Singapore to announce a comprehensive blockchain education program, all tailored towards Cardano. So you can see here, this was more details on it. I'll leave links to all of this below. I don't want to get too deep into any of it because this will be a very long video if I did. Up next, we have this one, which I think is one that is really big. And this is established a strategic partnership with these custodians for globally regulated institutional grade custody solutions. So for some big institutions to come into crypto, and especially to come into Cardano, they would be very wary of coming in when we don't have proper industrial grade custody solutions. And when you look here, they're looking at regulated ones, which I think will be massive if these deals come true and that they can start to bring institutions in. Because we see so many hacks, we see so many people losing access to wallets or seed keys and stuff like that. So when institutions are coming in, they don't really want to trust themselves with the keys. They want to trust a centralized entity. It's not what crypto is based on or where we really want to go, but it is a necessary part of the whole overall ecosystem. So this here I think is one to pay attention to and see when it starts to really take shape. This one I think will be really big. They also had their build hackathon, and where is the other one? Cardano Spot. Anyone who hasn't seen that yet, this is they've released their mobile app. They also have their website where it's a social network for Cardano. So if you're interested in just Cardano updates, then you can go in there and you can get all of the latest updates, or you can download the app. I need to start posting my own content there a bit more. I keep forgetting to do it, but I will try and do that more going forward. Next up, we have Project Catalyst. So the next round of Project Catalyst is going to have some fairly big changes for some of it. There's going to be no downvoting in the next fund. So this is something that after the last vote, there was a lot of people not happy with how whales were downvoting their projects, and basically meant that a lot of projects that could have done a lot of good for Cardano didn't get voted through. They got the support, but then because of whales downvoting them, it cancelled out all of the other votes that they had got. So Fund 11, there's going to be no downvoting. It's going to kick off on November 15th and the proposals open on the 16th. They'll be on for 3 weeks. I'm not going to go through all of this, but I might try and get Danny back on the channel to do a dedicated video to look into this and talk about the process and what has changed for Fund 11. But just for anyone interested, that's when the fund is going to open. The review stage then will happen over December into January. Voting starts then in February. February 22nd is when we should have the next results for Catalyst of who is going to get funded. There's also a big change on the tracks and how it's going to work. You can see here it's going to be streamlined categories and a track-based approach. So for projects at different stages, there'll be different tracks and different allocations. We'll get into all of that when I hopefully get Danny back onto the channel. Next, USDM, stablecoins, very important part of the ecosystem, something Cardano really has been lacking. If you look at the likes of ZED, you haven't been able to mint ZED for the last 3-4 months maybe, since the price rise in the last few days. Now you can actually mint ZED again, but long term, it's something that really needs a bit of work. And Charles talked about this in, I think it was the closing keynote with JJ, and talked a bit about the IOG new team that has been put together to look at stablecoins. They're looking at ZED and they're also looking at their own stablecoin, which really is needed within Cardano and will be a good step forward. USDM, I had the Mehen team on probably 2 months ago at this point. They were up on stage and announced that December 19th is when they're going to launch the first wave on mainnet for USDM. This will be a fiat-backed stablecoin and it will be initially available in all of these states. These other ones are pending, and then the following waves will allow other ones. Now, I have a link to the presentation there, which I will also link down below this one. Why this is good is because I think if you look across any other ecosystem, stablecoin pairs are generally the biggest ones when you look in DeFi. The biggest traded pairs are always against stablecoins because not everybody wants to trade against two volatile assets, and that would be OADA versus another token, any other token out there. They're constantly moving, where stablecoins allows you to move in and out, and especially when you look at what the likes of Axo are trying to bring in with their trading strategies, you really need a lot of depth for stablecoins to really take advantage of all of them. And just when I mention Axo, Minswap, another DEX on Cardano, is really taking a big step forward with their V2 launch. So it's not live yet, but they announced some of the features that are going to be coming out. It's one I'll probably again cover deeper in another video to go through all of it. Some of the ones that I really like, so they are moving to Aiken. You know, when Pi was on from Sunday Swamp, he talked about the massive improvement Aiken is going to bring to them in V2. And you can see here that for Minswap, it's going to do exactly the same. Bring some really big speed improvements and throughput improvements for Minswap. Down, this is one I really like, is the auto routing. So if you've used other ecosystems, you know that when you go to make a trade, so the likes of Pancake Swap, if you go to make a swap on that, sometimes it mightn't just be one asset straight to another. It might go one asset to another and then into the asset that you want. And you can see this here with Minswap going to ZED. So if they look at the route, they can see that they could get an optimized route if they swap the Minswap to OADA and then the OADA to ZED. So for you, the end user, you submit one transaction, but you get back the ZED, even though it might go through multiple routes in the middle. This one then is another big one for advanced order types. So they're going to be bringing in take profit, stop loss, and one cancels the other type trades. So take profit is basically you put in your funds and say, once the price gets to whatever price you set, take profit, sell it, and give me back the other asset that I want. Stop loss, we've seen Dex Hunter brought out their stop loss contracts in the last, I think in the last month, and it's been a big hit. Minswap will now have stop losses too when they bring out V2. This one I think is really good. One cancels the other. So in the example of take profit and stop loss, so you could put in your trade and it's you set a take profit and a stop loss. So either the take profit hits or the stop loss hits. So whichever one hits first, then that cancels the other order. And there's other ways you can do it too, which I'll look into in the next video. V2 is also bringing a new Minswap wallet, a new UI, UX on it. The same with their overall platform. You can see here a lot of things are going to change for Minswap. Really good announcements. They also won the Best DeFi Award at the Cardano Summit. That's 2 years in a row, and you have to hand it to them. They have continually evolved and continually progressed for the Cardano community. Next up, we take a look at Iagon. So Iagon announced Ledgerflow, and it is live there now. You can check it out on the testnet. And if I watch the video here, just let you flick through it while I'm talking. So you can see here, this is a wallet that it will allow you to send. So if you want to send assets to multiple different wallets, you can do it through here. You can set up multi-sigs. It's probably one that I'll probably look to do a separate video to show you some of the features and all of the different things you can do with it. But great to see Iagon making progress. And once Naveed is home from the summit, he's another guy I need to catch up with and see what the latest is on Iagon. But great to see progress, and Ledgerflow seems to be getting fairly close to mainnet for everyone to test out. Optim Finance, so they launched their token last week, maybe the beginning of last week, and now they've announced their next product, which is OADA. So this is going to be a synthetic version of ADA. They say it's going to bring better yield, always liquid, and backed one-to-one with ADA. So essentially you can put in your ADA and you can get back a synthetic version, and you can use that throughout DeFi. They will use what's in the contract as well to earn yields. It's a bit more of a complex one. I'm actually sitting down with Zygomed from Optim in the next few days, so I'm not even going to go any further in this one. We will do a talk all about Optim and Cardano DeFi in general, because he's a guy who is deep down into it. I'm looking forward to that chat. If you have any questions on Optim or Cardano DeFi in general, make sure and leave them below, and I'll try and put them to him. I think that's towards the end of the week. I'm chatting to him about that. Next, Maestro. I think this one might have even come out just before the summit, but just wanted to give it a mention as well. So they've put out their latest offering, which is a smart contract marketplace. So I think this could be really beneficial for builders who want to build contracts and put them out there and maybe earn some profits from that. They can build the contracts, put them into the marketplace. Anybody who is looking for contracts like that can come in and use them then. And Maestro is one of them projects that kind of building in the background, but from a technical standpoint, really good things coming out of Maestro. If you're a builder, I would say definitely check them out. Probably one I should do a deeper dive into at some point too. Fluid Tokens, another team that doesn't probably get the airtime that they deserve at times, but they have brought this announcement out with Acredius. I'm definitely not getting these names right today. I'm going to blame it on the cold. But they're a fintech lending leader in Switzerland, and they've now got a partnership to try and bring real world assets to Fluid Tokens. So I'm not sure on the crossover here with NMKR and IMX Identity. There's a bit of a crossover there between all of what they're trying to do. Fluid Tokens, probably another team I should bring on to the channel here if they're up for a chat someday to talk about what they're doing, what they've built so far, and where these types of partnerships are going to go in the future. Another project that announced a launch on mainnet is Project Newm, and they said that in December they're going to be early December they're looking at a mainnet launch for Project Newm. This is one that's really looking to disrupt the music industry and sharing royalties. And another one, probably if they're listening and they want to come on for a chat, drop me a message and we can set that up to have a chat about what Project Newm are doing and how they're really looking to change up how things happen in the music industry. And if you look on their video here, you will see all the different features that they're going to be bringing. Testnet is open. I think it's a private testnet so far, but if a public testnet opens in the next few weeks, I'll make sure and mention it in some of my catch-up videos. And I'm going to finish up on this one from the Cardano Foundation about the academy that they have put together. It is going to be coming out public fairly soon. This is a full blockchain course for not just Cardano. It covers how blockchains work. You can see here about hash functions, digital signatures, platform how-to guides. So this goes a lot deeper than just Cardano. But if you're interested in more of how blockchains actually work and what they can be used for, this is definitely one to check out, and I will leave a link to it down below for anyone who wants to register for that. I hope this video has been useful. As I said, there was a lot more happening at the summit, which I will cover in maybe a part 2 towards the end of this week. So anything I have missed that you guys seen, let me know it down below. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you soon.